The next day was Sunday, which meant church. Reverend Greenberry went through his prayers and familiar routines, but after he read the gospel, he gripped the sides of the lectern and gazed out at us with a worried look. "I'm going to base my sermon today on a reading that comes up later in the church year," he said. "The times being what they are, my conscience demands I speak out. And I can find no better words than those of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 2, verses 1 through 7. Clearing his throat, Reverend Greenberry began to read from the Bible in his shrill Yankee voice. "Son of man, I send you to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me. They are impudent children and stiff-hearted. Be not afraid of them. Though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dost dwell among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious." It didn't take anyone long to figure out where Reverend Greenberry was heading with this reading. People began to shift and stir. They whispered among themselves. The second time the Reverend said, "rebellious," Uncle Philemon began thumping his cane on the floor. Others cleared their throats and twitched and coughed. Reverend Greenberry peered at us. "A rebellious house," he repeated, as if we hadn't already heard. "Any state that leaves this union blessed by God Almighty is indeed a rebellious house, and will have no favor in the eyes of the Lord." Uncle Philemon thumped his cane even harder. Several other gentlemen joined him. A familiar voice in the back of the church drawled, "Yankee fool." I looked around and saw the widow Baxter, dressed in black, her face hidden by a veil. Her uncle, Colonel Abednego Botfield, slouched beside her, eyeing the Reverend with scorn. "The Lord is asking us to speak out, just as he asked Ezekiel." Reverend Greenberry spoke louder and smote the Bible with his fist. "The Lord wants us to speak the truth, to stand up for justice and freedom for all. If Mr. Abraham Lincoln calls upon us to take a stand against the rebels, we must go where he bids us and do what he asks. Above all, this state must not join the house of rebellion." Unfortunately for Reverend Greenberry, there were few who agreed with him. It was shocking to hear them shout and call out against him and pound the floor. Never had I seen such carrying on in church.